It's a story that's near and dear to the hearts of many here in Oklahoma. A family search for a loved one who served with honor in Vietnam. He's been missing for 50 years.
Tonight, Channel 8's investigative reporter Maureen Wards shows us how this serviceman's family has never given up hope of finding him and bringing him home. That's tonight's Channel 8 Close-Up.
Hold driver. Hold driver, survivors at the door.
6 Airstein, ground power to 6 o'clock position. Sandy, come and get him, come and get him.
For 50 years.
Charlie's over there. Okay, Charlie Green.
So this was taken in April '65.
Louise Morgan has lived with hope and heartache.
You don't really come to terms with that. The thing of it is, to this day, I think some of these days he may show up at my door, you know.
The man she would give anything to see again, her big brother, Donald Joe Hall.
Okay, and he's in his uniform too?
Yes, that's Willard, that's my mom and dad, and that's my sister Norma Jean, and that's me.
Mm-hmm. This was in Stroud, right?
Yes.
In 1955, Donald Joe enlisted in the Air Force. And when U.S. troops were sent to Vietnam, he was with the 38th Air Rescue and Recovery Squadron. Instead of looking out for his little sister,
He has a banked up flag. He'll be requiring a PJ. Make sure the Charlie's aware of this. Right.
he became big brother to dozens of soldiers he helped rescue.
I told him to take care and that I loved him. And he told me he loved me. And that's the last time I've seen him.
On February 6, 1967, Donald Joe and his crew learned a pilot had crashed near the Mugai Pass. Officials told them not to go. It was too rainy and too dangerous.
These guys jumped up and said, "You don't have to send us, and we're going."
After successfully rescuing the pilot, Donald Joe's helicopter was hit. It caught fire and crashed.
They told me that he was missing in action. So they didn't they didn't say, he's passed away or anything like that. It's just he was an MIA.
To this day, more than 50 years later, Chief Master Sergeant Donald Joe Hall is still missing in action. Neither dead nor alive, just gone.
After all this time, I want him to be in heaven.
It's not just airmen like Chief Master Sergeant Donald Joe Hall who are still missing in action. These are the faces of the 80,000 American servicemen who were brothers, husbands, heroes who served our country and still haven't come home.
It actually makes me sick. I want to cry. I'm a 72-year-old man, but it makes me want to cry.
Willard has watched his wife, Louise, wonder about her brother's fate for decades, and he understands the loss and the pain. Willard served in Vietnam, too.
We may argue among ourselves, but we're all one. You're a band of brothers.
A band of brothers the government is now trying desperately to find. In 2015, the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency was created. Right now, they're working on recovering servicemen from glaciers in Alaska to jungles in the South Pacific. But time is not on their side.
That means that he was a hero, and he didn't want any credit for it.
A row of medals line the box next to Louise, tokens of her brother's bravery during his 12 years of service. Of the many her brother was awarded, she's proudest of two, both Silver Star medals, given for gallantry in action against an enemy of the United States.
And I see him every time I salute the flag.
And while the flag is a symbol of the freedom her brother fought for, it's also a reminder that her brother still hasn't come home.
Driver, finish secure. Let's get the hell out of here. Okay, talk to me. We're coming out. Go on, coming out, Sandy. Coming out.
The family is hopeful that they will find his remains soon. They're in the process of testing some bones that were found, so we might have an answer in a month or two. Neely?
Maureen, thank you. Hall was inducted into the Oklahoma Military Hall of Fame in 2016, and according to officials, he participated in at least 100 search and rescue.
Now to an update on a story we first told you about in May, a Vietnam War hero missing in action for more than 50 years. Channel 8's investigative reporter Maureen Wirtz was there as the family heard for the first time their loved one had been found. That's tonight's Channel 8 Close-Up.
Driver, good and secure. Let's get the hell out of
Amen. Hey, I'm a good boy. Hey, I'm a buffalo boy.
Life is quiet out at Louise Morgan's home. Except for the sounds of roosters and the Oklahoma wind, not much touches this corner of the country.
I'm Louise, and I want to hug you.
Thank you for everything that you've done.
But the peace is a facade covering the years of worry that have settled into the lines on Morgan's face.
Because he is a hero. Maybe to nobody else, but to me, he's always been a hero.
Her last words to her big brother were, "I love you." Chief Master Sergeant Donald Joe Hall was off to Vietnam, where he's been ever since.
You know they're headed for Vietnam. It's not in our hands, it's in God's hands, whether they come back alive or not.
On February 6, 1967, Hall courageously rescued a downed pilot along the Mugai Pass. As he and his crew made their way out, their helicopter was hit and crashed. In the 50 years since, Hall has been missing in action. Until now.
I'm so glad you came.
DPAA 2017-0080 are identified as those of Chief Master Sergeant Donald Joe Hall.
So, it's a good day, because now we know where he is, that we don't have to worry about him anymore.
In a small room, the Air Force gave Morgan and her family the answers they were searching for.
Driver's license, basically. And we've had that in our care, so I don't know if you want me to take it out of the plastic, but it's the same plastic that I was handed the DPA with, so.
Her big brother's remains had been found.
I'm all right.
I am so glad you all came.
Thank you. I'm glad we came too. We weren't going to miss it if hell or high water.
But the years of heartache are still heavy. Aaron McGee has spent years looking for his grandfather and his fellow crew members. Two are still missing.
You know, my first reaction when we got the word was, the first thing popped into my head was the other two families. Not the reaction I had daydreamed about all my life.
Morgan knows the pain that comes with waiting, but also the relief that comes with hope.
To not give up hope that some of these days they will be blessed like I have been.
We have your parachute in sight. We have you in sight. The helicopter is close by. Okay, change one. What's your position to your chute?
Her hero is finally home.
The family has chosen to bury Hall in Arlington National Cemetery. They're burying him on what would have been his 81st birthday on March 26th of next year. But there is one challenge. Louise is the only member of the family who will have her airfare covered by the Air Force. That's because she's a direct relative. So the rest of the family will have to make it there on their own. But maybe some people in Oklahoma might be able to help out with that. So.
Yeah.
Let's hope it works out. Maureen, thanks very much. Hall was awarded 2 Silver Star medals during his service. He was also inducted into the Oklahoma Military Hall of Fame in 2016.